Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Champions expansion, The Galaxy's Most Wanted, a new campaign expansion featuring 2 heroes and 5 nemesis, all strung together in one epic campaign. So before we begin, I do want to kind of say who this expansion is for. So this is an expansion that is honestly a little bit harder than most of the other content for Marvel Champions. This is for somebody that has a pretty well-built collection. The 2 heroes inside of the box are going to find a lot of challenge with the enemies that they'll be facing in here, unless you have a collection pretty well managed. So you do want to have a lot of Marvel Champions experience under your belt. Now that being said, if you are an experienced Marvel Champions player, this is a fantastic expansion. I'm just going to go out and say it. This is a wonderful expansion because it provides a lot of new, interesting challenges. And boy, when I say challenges, I mean it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and first take a look at the heroes. So right off the bat, we'll take a look at Rocket Raccoon here. So Rocket Raccoon is definitely the weaker of the 2 heroes, in my opinion. He has a little bit of a rough start because his ability only works when you're discarding tech upgrades. But his whole thing is you discard tech upgrades that you control in order to draw 2 cards. He's pretty cool because he does have some double resource icons, so he's able to get stuff out a little bit faster than others. But having to wait to use that alter ego ability instead of using it right out the gate is a little bit of a speed bump. He has a lot of big damage in the form of these really cool upgrades, and then he does have some good ways to thwart as well. So I do like Rocket. I think he's fun, but he's definitely the weaker out of the 2 heroes in my opinion, but he's still a lot of fun, and I can see a lot of cool deck building potential opening up with him, especially if you're combining him with your cards in your larger collection. But a lot of fun, Rocket Raccoon. The next one is a little bit stronger, but I think Rocket is a little bit more fun, but this is Groot. Groot is fantastic to play. He is really straightforward. He's going to be collecting these growth counters, and these growth counters are going to allow him to do some cool things. He's got lots of these 1-cost upgrades. They're all superpower tags, so you can play them on the cheap with the new neutral card. And this one in particular, you can use the growth counters to give him all his basic actions and additional boost, whether it be attack or defense or thwart. And then you can also use the growth counters to take additional actions. You can ready Groot with them. In addition, you also have I Am Groot cards. So you have one for thwart and you have one for attack, and these will let you use these growth counters to do massive amounts of damage. So he's got a lot of versatility in what he can do, and you can spend some time in your alter ego mode to charge up these growth counters. So you have some really cool options with Groot, and I like that he's pretty flexible in the way he plays. So I like this hero. I think he's pretty great, and it's Groot. Come on, you gotta have a blast with him. But very straightforward hero. So overall, the heroes are fun. I think they're very new, very unique, and they open up a lot of cool deck building potential. So excited to see how they, work with the future Guardians of the Galaxy that are going to be coming soon. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, I do think that these 2 heroes have a bit of a tough time, though, handling the scenarios in this set in particular. And you'll see why as we go through them. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the different scenarios. So first off, we have Drang. He is very straightforward. He's basic as all get out. He's got a ship that he's going to put damage counters on. He's got a scheme that's pretty basic, and he's just going to deal some damage to you every so often. So very straightforward, no crazy mechanics. You're not getting the box for him. So really easy intro scenario. Up next, we've got what I think is ridiculous coming out the gate. So I tried this solo, and I used Rocket Raccoon, and my gosh, this challenge, the Collector with the Grand Collection, this was something else. So generally when I play the game, I play on Expert mode right out the gate. I think that this game is really fun when you have that challenge, but my goodness, I had to tone down the difficulty setting on all these, and I had to jump down to the level 1, level 2, because these were super difficult. So the Collector has his Grand Collection. So this scheme in general, you lose automatically if you've got 5 cards in the collection. And that means when any card leaves play, yours or the enemy's, it goes in the collection. If there's 5 there, you'll lose. So super frustrating to deal with because that basically means you can't use Rocket Raccoon's ability on his alter ego side. So you're really just trying to make sure all your stuff stays on board. It makes it really difficult to block with allies, and it's very difficult to remove cards from the collection. You can only do it once per round, especially if you're playing solo. So sometimes just a string of bad luck and you'll just lose, even if you're getting rid of the collection. So I found this one very frustrating with the heroes in the box. But when you're bringing in a specific deck, then I found it a lot easier to take down. So generally, my opinion is this is a super difficult scenario for the two characters in the box. The next scenario I found super fun. So this scenario is really different and a really great one. You're basically just trying to thwart a lot. You've got a bunch of scheme on here, and your goal is to go from stage to stage to stage as the collector chases you, and eventually you're going to be able to escape the museum. So it's really fun. I really like how it's got this new progression that we haven't seen in any other scheme. It's a blast. So I think this is one that's just a lot of fun. So we've got bland, super challenging, and a lot of fun so far. Now these next two I think are crazy. So the first one is Nebula. She is fantastic. The easy mode for her is pretty manageable, but the expert mode of her is crazy strong. So she has what we call these tactic cards, and she'll put them out on herself, and these give her temporary abilities. Retaliate, the ability to reduce damage, the ability to only take a certain amount of damage every round, the ability to gain Stalwart. These are traits that she's going to be getting, and whenever she attacks, she discards one of those traits, and you get to pick which one of those. So you have some player agency, but my goodness, when you're only getting rid of one at a time and she's got a bunch stacked, it can be pretty tough to deal with her relentless assault on you. So I find this a lot of fun. She very much feels like Nebula. I feel like this is what the Drang encounter should have been, and obviously this is a natural progression of that. You're flying around in your ship and you're dealing with this crazy sister of Gamora. It's a really cool scenario. I really like Nebula here. The last encounter in the box here is the most difficult encounter, I think, in the entire game so far. He is so challenging. This is Ronan the Accuser. This is another one I had to go on easy mode to play with, specifically in solo, because of this, the Kree Command Ship. So there's two cards in particular that I found just brutal. So first off, Ronan the Accuser, he comes out with toughness, and when he attacks, he gets additional boost cards. So it doesn't seem too crazy powerful, but the big thing is he's going to start with this card. It's his giant weapon, and this weapon is going to give him Stalwart, which means he's going to be attacking you every round, so you better be able to defend yourself either with allies or yourselves, and if to get rid of it, you shuffle it back on the deck, so it does have a chance of coming back out with this boost ability. So really scary, but the biggest thing that makes this guy threatening are his Kree Command Ship. This just straight up, every round you're going to play an extra card. And the last scary thing are pretty much every card has Surge, and the worst card in this whole deck is Fanaticism. It is insane. So first off, it's got Surge, so you're going to play another card. And when you play it, it gives Ronan +1 attack, and then it gets 2 Fury counters on it. Whenever Ronan attacks you, it's got Overkill and Piercing. Oh my gosh, so you can't block with your allies. You're getting hit for big damage. Ronan is pretty beastly. He's got his weapons, and if you've got the Power Stone at the time, you're going to get this additional cards. It is nasty. So this is an incredible challenge. When I played Ronan the Accuser the first time, got destroyed. Multiple times got destroyed. And I figured, okay, I'll probably need to custom build a deck to take this guy out. And had to bring out the big guns, had to bring out Doctor Strange to take him out. But I was able to do it, and it was very much back and forth. So I like that there is such a challenging villain in this expansion because it allows you to play those stronger heroes and really go to toe-to-toe. So I really appreciate that they have a villain of this difficulty, and that was uneasy, so I can only imagine what the difficult expert version of him is going to be like. So I really appreciate that for that. Now, the book itself does come with a campaign. It's got a nice comic book finish, and you'll be using these upgrade cards. And these upgrade cards, they cost units, and you earn units by getting victory points during a scenario. It's really interesting, but honestly, I don't really like the campaign here. So it has you sticking with one deck and stringing along, but these scenarios that you see are so varied and so challenging in their own specific ways. I find it very daunting and very difficult, and not something I really wanted to just run with the same villain over and over again. So I'm not a big fan of the campaign expansion, the campaign portion in these expansions in general, but I do love the variety that you get with the different scenarios, with the different modular sets. I think that this is an incredible expansion for Marvel Champions, especially if you already have a collection for it. I think this provides a lot of challenge, a lot of unique scenarios, and a lot of fun in two wonderful characters that you can dive into with Rocket and Groot. I'm really excited to play more of this, and I can't wait to try it with others, but going through it with a solo, I would give this one a solid 9 out of 10. It's a wonderful expansion. Definitely not the first expansion you should go out and buy, but a fun one for sure. So let me know what you think. If you have any comments about this, if you agree with me, disagree with me, let me know, please. Thanks so much for watching Side Game Strong.